World Takes Podcast, episode 91. Make some noise. We got a real special guest in the building for y'all tonight. As you all know, it's your boy, Big Mo. I got your boy in here with me.
It's B Baby 1-2 of the World Takes Podcast.
And ladies and gentlemen, we want to introduce to y'all, most of y'all probably already know him, but we got Mr. Algernon Ward in the building. Make some noise. Algie, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out.
It's loving this.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate the time to talk to my people.
For the people at home watching it that may not be familiar, I know most are, but tell the people who you are and where you're from.
Well, I'm from here, man. I was born in Trenton. They call me Algie the Great from the Garden State.
Yes.
I'm on the boulevard at 688.
Yes.
I'm trying to get you to vote for me. I'm number 3 in column G. I'm Algie. You know, and that's what most people know me as. You know, I grew up here in Trenton. In fact, I lived in all sections of Trenton, but my family lived in North Side since 1965.
Okay.
And I grew up here, went to Junior 1, Trenton High, Trenton State. That's why I'm saying I'm Algie the Great from the Garden State.
From the Garden State. Make some noise, y'all. Make some
College
noise
in
at
New Jersey
home.
for people who don't know.
Yeah.
The younger kids.
Yeah, they call it College, New Jersey. When I went there, it was Trenton State.
Trenton State still.
Dude, I was Algie the Great from Trenton State.
Yeah.
Better said.
Then I graduated, I had to expand.
I like that. I like that. It's always room for expansion, for growth. You know. You running for city council.
Yes, sir.
North Ward.
North Ward City Council.
I want to talk about that. What made you decide I'm going to run? I want to be the difference.
So I'm the kind of person who believes that you got to light a candle instead of curse the dark. If it's not good out here, what you see is not satisfactory, the question I ask myself, so what are you going to do about it?
I like that.
I can't look for somebody else to come and save me. I'm the one we've been waiting for, right? You got to get up off your butt, I'm saying it nicely, and do something about it, because I grew up in a time of activism. As I was talking to you earlier, you know, I'm at about 68 is when Martin Luther King died. It was the young people who led that civil rights movement. You know, I was at Trenton High. We demanded a black principal, and we got it. And we demanded that more black policemen on the police force. They got hired. And Martin Luther King Park, that was called North Trenton Park. And it was us, your dad, and some others. We were part of the North Trenton Youth Council. We drew that park up on a piece of paper. I myself did that on a yellow piece of paper. The pool, the kiddie park, and the walking path, all that came out of the activism that we put in to get the change in the community. And once I seen that could happen, I'm saying this is what we got to do. If we want to see change in the world, we got to be change in the world. So we pick it up and we do what we can do to make that change. And we can't wait on somebody else to come along and do things for us. We have to do things for ourselves. Yeah. That's why part of my platform is the Trenton Community Credit Union. And what that is, it's a black bank. Okay. You know, if you live, work, or go to school in the city of Trenton, you join this credit union, now we have our own money. We don't have to ask nobody for no money. And one of the big problems we had in our community was access to capital. And what that means is if you wanted a mortgage, if you needed a small business loan to get started, you go to the bank, oh, I got to knock on my credit. I had a late phone bill. They say no. But if you in the credit union, we're not going to be as tight about that kind of a thing in order to get a mortgage. And see, a mortgage is very important for our people. We have to be homeowners, not renters.
Exactly.
You know, because that's how you have generational wealth. You know, you buy a house, and when you pass on, you leave that to your kids, so they're not starting at zero. Yeah. All right? And that's one of the big problems that we have, generational wealth. So I would encourage any of y'all, especially this generation, look at owning property. The money you spend on rent is a beat. Y'all need to be buying these houses, especially here in Trenton. These houses are probably at a better rate than you would get anywhere else. So if you invest in this town, get some property, fix your property, now you got something to pass on to your kids when it's your time and when it's their time.
I want to make some noise for that. It's a lot of gems. It's a lot of gems being dropped right now. I hope y'all listening. I hope you got your ears open. What Algie just described is power.
That's
you
right.
know, you guys in North Trenton Youth Council back then, y'all took action and y'all saw results.
That's right.
That's why we wanted to have you here today, because we feel like people our age and lower, they might not necessarily know the power they have. But that's an example right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all asked for change and y'all got it.
Oh, well, that's why I'm using the political platform to exert that power. Your vote is power. Now, and like I was talking about those times before, my parents' generation, they couldn't vote. You understand? They had all kind of rules that made it very difficult to vote, so they had to take whatever somebody dropped on the table for them. But when you exercise your political power, now you can demand your seat at the table because you're being represented. That's why you have to pick representatives from your community to tell your story, to advocate for you. When that pie is being cut up, you got somebody there to say, well, this is our piece. You understand? That's what political power is. Now, we're a bit impatient. We sometimes think, well, I voted for you and the world's not fixed yet. Well, it ain't never going to be fixed like that.
Right.
It's a stepwise process. It can get better over time. Things get worse over time because I've seen it get worse over time. But I don't give up because I know that if we stay with it, and I'm from North Trenton, I don't quit.
Ain't no quit in us.
No, we
Ain't
don't
no
quit.
in us.
We stay to the 12th round,
better
the
say it.
15th round, and you know that last 100 yards is where you did it. That's Wormwood. The Wormwood run you down in
You
the
better
last
say it.
100 yards.
Make some noise, y'all, for my pops.
Wormwood's on track team.
Cross country and all
Couldn't
that.
stick with it.
What?
Yeah, man. Well, what I'm trying to say to you all is that you have power, but you can't abdicate it. Because I'm hearing a lot from young, I ain't in no politics. I ain't involved in politics. Well, I got news for you. Either you get involved with politics or politics is going to get involved with you. All right? That's power that you have, and you have to exert it. And I mean, well, let me give you an example. Everybody was upset last summer about death of George Floyd, protests all over the world, really.
Yes.
About, Black Lives Matter and all that. So we all need police reform, right?
For sure.
Part of my platform is police reform, right?
Yeah.
So you got to push me up. So when I'm sitting on city council, I can insist on police reform. And what I mean about that, we got to restructure this thing so that we're not the victims of police misconduct. And if there is, we have a civilian review board to look into it. That's part of my platform.
We definitely need a civilian review board.
We need a civilian review board.
Yeah.
So now if you don't vote, I lose the election.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. It stays the same. And so it's kind of reinforcing things. So I'm talking about for those you own your house right now. And when Trenton does a new development, I want you to be able to take your house as a down payment on a new one in the new development. I think the people who've been paying taxes in the city should have first dibs on a new development here in the city. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to push. I'm using the history of Trenton to try to make this a travel destination. Trenton got a very big and storied history. Washington crossing the Delaware, the battles of Trenton. These are the turning points of the American Revolution. This is something that we can bring tourists in and bring money into our town instead of money going out of our town. So I'm working on that. I'm a reenactor. I actually get down there and fight the battles and do all that stuff. I have a good time.
Yes, sir.
There's cities around the world that have a riverfront, a river walk, or something. We never took advantage of that.
We haven't taken advantage of it. Fortunately, one of my platforms is a entertainment district in the downtown area. Now we've gotten a lot of the buildings down there, but so we should be thinking like an entertainment district. I think that's where we should have our marijuana dispensaries down there, and we should have special dispensations. I understand that the liquor license situation in Trenton prevents new bars from opening that are too close to each other. That's something I would change if I was sitting on city council. We'd change that ordinance, but I want to be able to run it right. See, a lot of times people have things and then they don't manage it properly. It becomes a pain to everybody else around them, and so then it kind of falls down. But if it's managed properly and people feel secure coming there, it's something that'll bring money into our town, and that's the kind of thing that I want to promote. I want to clean up our city, man. Our city looks bad. It looks bad. And I'll be honest about it. It looks bad. The city can do a better job with keeping the city clean there's empty lots, these abandoned houses, and just plain keeping the city clean will go a long way to morale of people. If you walk outside and it looks dirty and unkept, you don't think much of the thing. But if you're in a place that's neat and clean, you act a little better.
You're going to find the trash can
right.
instead of throwing
exactly.
it on the street.
If you see trash all over the ground, you finish a bag of tape chips, you drop it on the ground. But if everything is clean and nice, you'll look around for the trash can
for sure
to keep it up. That's the kind of attitude change that we can have here in the city of Trenton if people get involved in the neighborhood. And I surely believe that you can be the change you want to see in the world if you believe that you can make a difference. And I'm here to tell you can.
We live in a beautiful city filled with beautiful people, filled with power, all of you. You might not realize it. Sometimes you might feel powerless, but take it from me. On November 8th, the power is in your hands. All you got to do is come out and cast your ballot.
That's right.
Now, we here at The World Takes, we supporting Algie, right?
Thank you.
You don't necessarily have to support Algie. You don't have to take my word for it, even though I'm telling you this is the candidate that has your best interests at heart. Algie is here to tell y'all himself. You spoke about the abandoned buildings. I know y'all know. If you watching at home, if you rode down through the city anytime in the last year, 2, 3, 4 years, you notice everywhere is boarded up. The whole boulevard is boarded up.
There's thousands of abandoned homes in the city.
You start at the Battle Monument.
About 3,000 abandoned homes in the city.
Start at the Battle Monument and go down to Olden Avenue, and you count the abandoned homes.
Exactly.
Go down. Start at Clinton and Southern.
It's a lot of green boards
and
up
go
too.
down.
It's a lot of green boards.
Well,
up.
let me tell you a secret. Those green boards, those brown boards, that's the city of Trenton.
Yep.
That's the city is the largest slumlord in the city. All right?
Yeah.
They got a lot of properties that need attention here in the city of Trenton. Now, some of the buildings is beyond repair.
Right.
And they need to be taken down.
Because they've been abandoned
for a long time.
Decades.
If the foundation is bad, the roof is bad, the walls are bad, they got to come down because they're unsafe for people.
For sure.
There are many buildings that can be rehabilitated. Now you living in these houses, very nice houses on New Road Street. Mm-hmm. I want you to know that this was part of a program that was supposed to do the entire block.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They did half of the block and didn't finish. And see, that's the kind of thing that really, when this was part of North Trenton, it really annoys me. You should do the whole thing. You should not leave these new development with undeveloped property still on the same street. You should do the whole thing. And in that way, all of the property value stays high.
Yeah.
It makes the house more valuable. Yeah. The abandoned houses, either you tear them down or you fix them. And this is where I'm talking about you young people. There's an opportunity for you there.
Mm-hmm. I like to push back on that. I've tried. You go down there, they send you, they spin you around, spin you around, then they sell it to like a Jewish person or a Spanish person. They don't give you access. Like people, I live in this city, and when I get my resources, I try to invest in stuff like that. And so many abandoned homes. Me and him both, we done took lists riding around the city. Let's check out this one. Check out this one. Check out this one. You go there. It's not that easy to get a home that's been abandoned for years, and I don't understand that about this city. Like, I don't understand. I understand some are condemned, granted, but then some are not condemned, and it's like you can't get it. At one point, even this whole strip right here was like maybe 3-4 years ago. It was like most of these properties between here and Fountain was abandoned. It's because that new development thing, they created something where the taxes get pushed back, and by the time it's time to start paying taxes, your taxes about $2,000 a month. So a lot of people had to get up out of it; they couldn't sustain. Right now, when they start selling it, they had some available. When we first got this place over here, and to go get one of the extra properties that have been abandoned down there, it was just like. It was hard. And it should be more easy. It should be a lot more easy, especially for people who grew up in Trenton residents.
IG, before you answer that, I just want to make this statement. If y'all are, against what Beeb is talking about, it being so hard for y'all to obtain these properties, just know it's all dependent on who y'all put in office on the 8th. Right. You know, if you give the right people the power, you're going to see the results you desire. If you're one of these people that's sitting around talking about you don't vote, you don't believe in voting, you don't care about voting, then guess what? You're going to keep getting the same results that we've been getting for the last 20 years. I go all the way back to Palmer.
I'm a walking testament to that. I'm a walking testament to that.
Yeah.
I've been following this stuff since Palmer. All the empty promises he made. And Doug's a good guy. I don't want to sound like I'm throwing dirt on Doug, but all the empty promises he made for the city of Trenton, the skating rink downtown, the entertainment downtown, the small Hollywood on the East Coast, they was talking about the YMCA down there on Hamilton Avenue, they was talking about. None of that stuff came to fruition.
Yeah, no.
Recreational activities for the youth.
For the kids, to keep them off of the streets. I'm here to tell people it's all about who you're putting in power.
It has everything to do with it.
Yeah.
I know you can probably speak to that a little bit more.
It has everything to do with it. I certainly believe that, and I went on about home ownership. It is a difficult process, and yes, who's sitting in city council can kind of smooth that process.
Yeah.
The auction situation that they have now, the city is trying to get as much money for each one of the properties they can, so they put it up for an auction. But now you're competing with people, developers
That's not even from around.
not even from around here to buy that property. The free market says if you got the money, you can buy it.
Yeah.
But there are also some programs where we can throw preferences for Trenton residents.
Yeah.
So we can do that. That could be part of the policy and the process for buying these properties.
Yeah.
But you got to have somebody in there swinging in that direction, pushing in that direction, and trying to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know, the recreation for the youth. We're trying to get Junior 1 and turn that into a community center and senior housing. You know, that's something I've been advocating. I'm working with the Trenton Housing Authority and the Choice Neighborhood Program. And that's one of the things that we talked about. And everybody in the community want to see that happen.
Oh, for sure.
So
before it's condemned.
before it's get too bad, it's actually a pretty lovely building.
It's a beautiful building. We had-
building. But
Yeah.
living right around the corner from it, I know that it's being used for the drug users right now.
There's people squatting in there.
There's
and
people
everything.
squatting in there. And we're letting this beautiful architecture, the history of our city, go to waste. But we got to get the right people in there.
Absolutely.
It's going to make the right decisions with the funding. Because the governor is giving the funding. The governor is handing out the money.
Well, let me put it to you this way. The government actually could do better because the state of New Jersey occupies a lot of valuable property downtown here in the city of Trenton. And they don't pay taxes.
Really?
That's right. The state does not pay taxes to the city.
Wow.
What they do is give us money. It's called state aid. But to the problem with that, you can't predict about how much you're going to get from one year to the next. So you can't plan.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the full value of what that was if it was private property and they were paying taxes.
Yeah.
Right? So the governor who's ever there, for instance, when we had a Democratic governor, he threw more state aid. We called it pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. He threw some money at us like that. And then when Chris Christie came in, he cut it.
It's over.
He cut it way down. And then we get Governor Murphy in, he kind of juiced it up a little better. So we just need some stability in the situation because we cannot plan on a budget when we don't actually know how much money we're going to get from the state from year to year. So we're behind the 8 ball. We can't spend money we don't have. And then if we have count on it, the next governor comes in and slash it. So we need stability in that situation. So the state could help. Because we supply the state with water, the streets, security, electricity, all those things are based on what Trenton taxpayers have built over time. And the state benefits from it, and they're occupying some choice land. Now, by the way, I'm going to say this here. We don't want to see them state jobs leave. Those are important jobs. Those,
for our city.
oh, yeah. That's the largest employer in the city. That's the largest employer in the city of Trenton.
State of
and
New
they are
Jersey.
middle class, steady jobs that we could have, and you ride a bike to work.
Yeah.
So, you're not dealing with having to ride an hour this, that, way. They are right here. So one of the things that our elected officials need to be lobbying for is to make sure those state jobs stay here in the city of Trenton. My job, I worked for the state for 34 years. I'm a research scientist. And when the lab was downtown in the round building, we used to call it Birthday Cake, that was a laboratory building. And I worked in there for 34 years. And then we moved out to Ewing. But when they moved out to Ewing, they took 200 jobs with it. and no longer downtown, they out in Ewing.
Wow.
So those are the kind of things. That's when I talked about the development in the entertainment business. That also needs to include some state jobs, some state buildings down there too, so that those state workers get out of work. I want to have a drink. I want to get something to eat. You know, I want to go to a movie. I want to do whatever. You know, they can do it because it's there and available. So I'm an advocate for those kind of things as a city councilman. So, but you got to understand the situation and how to fix it. We can all complain. We're good at complaining.
Yeah, that's lazy.
Exactly.
You said something earlier. I want to repeat it. Light the candle. Don't be cursed by the darkness. How did it go?
It's like light a candle instead of cursing the dark.
Yeah.
Hey,
Make the change, be the change.
That's right.
go out there and make a difference on Tuesday. They gave y'all the day off of work. Y'all have the power. I'm here to tell y'all. Go out there and make a difference. Use your power for good. You feel me? Don't just do nothing with it, because then you're a part of the problem.
That's right.
Take it from me. You're a part of the problem. This is your city. If you care, if you love the people in it, then Tuesday you'll go out there and you'll do the right thing. Trust me. To the ladies out there, it's been a lot going on where the government is saying y'all don't even have control over your bodies anymore. Y'all need to put a politician in there that's going to have y'all back, that's going to speak to your rights and what y'all deserve to be able to do with your bodies. Nobody else should be able to tell y'all that. It shouldn't be a governor, a politician, a councilman anywhere in this country that can tell you you don't have the right to do what you want with your body.
Amen.
You got to put people in the seats. Give them the power, the people that's going to have your back. Algie going to have your back. 'Cause I know you stand against that.
Oh, yeah. I'm 100% in favor of a woman's right to choose what she does with her own body. It's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. If I want to have control over my body, why shouldn't everybody?
You better say it.
You know what I mean? So the notion that somebody's going to impose their will on you is wrong from the jump, right off the bat. So, yeah, you have to have, but see, right now it's in the political world. The Supreme Court has turned it over to the states, and now we got to make a political choice to either encode that in the law or let it stand like it does. But I'm in favor of a woman's choice. That simple, period.
It's another thing I want to touch on. You said, Beeb asked you if like you've always been into politics, things of that. You said, I might be misquoting. You said, I'm not a political person, but I use politics to drive me to the destination, to get me where I have to go. And that's what I want all y'all out there to hear. You don't have to be political. You don't have to aspire to be like Barack Obama or Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. But light a candle. Don't curse the darkness. You got to do something. Use those politics when you can to drive to the destination you want to be. If you want to see Trenton be greater, if you want to ride down that boulevard and not see abandoned homes, ride down Clinton Avenue, ride down Walnut, Stuyvesant, and not see abandoned homes, you know, then you have to use the tools in front of you to make that change. And the tool we all have in front of us right now is we can come out on November 8th and we can cast them ballots.
What number are you?
Tell me where you at on the ballot.
I'm number 3 in column G.
Okay.
Algie the Great from the Garden State. Number 3 in column G.
Number 3, column 3. Algie from the Garden State. Make some noise.
If you're not doing it, man, listen, you got 10 minutes out your time, 15 minutes out your time. If you don't vote for anyone else, you don't know who you're voting for, you can still go down and vote for Algernon. Please do so if y'all want to make a difference. Algernon out here in the city, he bumping shoulders, he been bumping shoulders. Everybody from out North Trenton know. I want to at least see everybody out north, you know, go out there and vote for our boy, our brother, our OG.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
That warms my heart for you to say that. What that tells me is that my work hasn't been in vain.
Yeah,
none of it.
I've been trying. I'm pouring my heart in it, my life in it, and that when somebody acknowledged it, I had to say I appreciate you, brother.
It's. I mean, I know this might sound funny to say, but even since Trump era, like what we realize, sometimes the people who not a politician might give us a better perspective of things other than just going for a politician, people who's been in politics for years and stuff like that. And you one of us, you somebody, by the list of what you have, just the basic platforms that you're standing on, it's what we talk about here all day. It's not somebody who watching TV coming up with cool slang and lingo and tactics to get votes. It's somebody who out here making like real life changes, who want to see real changes that's out here that can relate to the people.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate you sacrificing your time, your finances, your energy to come out here to make a difference for us. Because I'm sure you're not about to get a whole bunch of money off a job in the city.
No, it's a part-time job. City councilman is a part-time job, just pays about 25 G's. I made more money bartending at the bowling alley.
Talk about it.
You're not going to get rich being a city councilman, all right? I'm out here knocking doors, door to door, talking to people. And by the way, that's where these ideas come from.
Yeah.
I ain't the fountain of all knowledge. I talk to people. So what's on your mind? And they'll tell you. If you talk to them, you sit down and you listen, and they're the ones who come up with these ideas. And I say, you know what? That's right. So maybe I should push that. Maybe I should put that in my platform and push that forward. So that's what I'm here for, to represent the people of the North Ward. That's all I'm trying to do. But I tell you what, the real question is only one. Who can best represent you as city council in the North Ward? And I'm going to tell you, the way to judge that is to look at what they've done.
Right.
Yeah.
Not when they come around when election time, right? And now they want you to vote for them.
Pop up, then they disappear.
You got to look at what they've been doing all the time in between. And I can offer you my record and say I've been at it for years. Even now, I'm working with the Choice Neighborhood Program in the 600 block. We got a pilot program called House Improvement Program. We getting 20 grand for every house on the boulevard to fix the front of their house.
Make some noise, y'all. Clap your hands.
For real, that's a big deal.
Because it breaks my heart. My aunt and uncle lived on the boulevard. I used to get dropped off there every day when my mom and dad went to work. I had to get dropped off at my aunt's and uncle's house,
right, on
the boulevard. That house is now abandoned.
Yeah.
And every house on the block with it.
Yeah.
Across from Tyrone's, across from Fountain Avenue.
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you come closer to Southern, you're going to see more of the same.
That's right.
You come past the light, you're going to see more of the same.
Make a left or a right, you're going to see
more of the same. And you ask yourself, well, how did it get that way? See, what we haven't talked about is how drugs impacted our community like a nuclear bomb. So many of the people who used to live in these houses, own these houses, lost possession of these houses from the ravages of the things like the drugs that came to our community. You see, a crack patient will take the rent or the mortgage and smoke it up in a pipe, all right? And it ravaged our community. Not the only thing.
For sure, though.
And also that has to do with the economic standing of our community. Like I mentioned, at a bank, if you had any little nick on your credit, they wouldn't loan you the money to keep it up. It's a practice called redlining. Yeah. That's exactly why I want to start the community credit union, Trenton Community Credit Union, so that we're not subject to this redlining. They would draw a red line around your community, right? And if you try to, when you fill out your app, if your address was inside that red line, they would not loan you the money, or they would give you a real high interest rate. Yeah. That made that illegal. That's illegal now. But now they do it by zip code, which is the same thing, really. Yeah. They just don't have a red line drawn no more. But if your zip code is 08618, the people sitting behind the desk say, okay. Well, I gave you and Lawrence a 6.7% interest rate. I got to give you 11% or 12% or not at all. I think so. Those are the kind of things that impacted that community and our community, and has resulted in a lot of what you see going on now. And Trenton is an older city. Most of the houses were built in the early 40s.
But still beautiful.
There's some beautiful architecture here, man.
For sure. Like, there's other cities with them beautiful architecture. the property value is through the roof.
That's right.
Sure.
So we can do that. We can fix ourselves.
I believe it's like 70+% of Trentonians are renters, and that's a problem
That's the
in
problem.
itself.
A lot of our young people who try to go and qualify for mortgages find themselves being turned around or turned down, and they end up renting a property. Or some people don't even realize that renting a house is you're wasting your money. You really are.
First of all, it's more. It costs more. It costs more to rent a home typically than get the mortgage.
Get a mortgage, get your mortgage, stay on top of that, and own some property. And what happens when you own property? You now have what they call equity.
Mm-hmm.
You got equity in this house. You can go out and get a car loan. You can go out and get a small business loan because you have equity in your house.
Yeah.
And like I pointed out, when your time comes and you can leave that to your children, then they have something to start with.
Yes, sir.
They're not starting at zero, right?
Yes, sir.
They're not fighting against the wall. They have property they own. Maybe they didn't want to live there, but they can sell that and get something better.
Yeah.
Right. And they're in the habit of owning property, not renting property. So we have to convert our renters into homeowners. Good programs out here for that. There's first-time home buyers programs, and to help you get your credit together so that you qualify for loans. And when the Trenton Community Credit Union opens up, those are exactly the kind of courses we're going to have.
Yeah.
You know, financial education. We're going to tailor our programs so that they fit the need that the people have. You know, if you're even on assistance, you still need a bank account.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the kind of things we're going to set up. We're talking about a go to school thing. Start putting little money in when your kid is small, 2-3 years old. Start putting money back for college. So when they get to be 19 years old, ready to go to college, they got a nice nest egg.
Nest egg.
You know, those kind of things is what we're looking for. And by the way, let's talk about insurance too. You know, a lot of people walking around here without no insurance, no life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they go meet the maker and you got to borrow money and put them in the ground. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You can get a life insurance for $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's irresponsible for you not to make sure you carry life insurance, because if you got kids, you definitely want to do something like that.
You definitely want to be thinking about someone other than yourself. If you got kids, if you got parents, if you got a family, don't leave them with that burden. And I'm not placing blame. I know it's not your fault if you lose your life, but while you're here, while you're here, you can do the responsible thing and make it so it doesn't go that way for your family, for the people you care about, that you claim you care about.
In other communities, life insurance like the beginning of a lot of generational wealth for them.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure. You can make a difference. You can be a hero, a legend in your own family by that.
Yeah.
Or if you in a, I don't know, God, I hate to say it, but like you're even in a gang or something like that, you know, like you can make a difference for the people's who you consider your family. You know, you can make a big difference by life insurance. It's important.
You gotta have some life insurance on you so that you're responsible. That's what a man does.
Responsible.
He's responsible for himself and his family.
That's the right word.
But, you know, it's always good to talk to my young brothers because, you know, if there's anything that I can pass on that's going to be some light, I'm 100% happy to share that with y'all.
Algie, we praying that you gonna win on Tuesday. We throwing our full support behind you. But whether you win or lose, I know that you out here doing big things in the community.
Thank you, brother.
I want to talk about a lot of things, but I want you to get into a little bit about the Locust Hill Museum.
Oh yeah, the Locust Hill Cemetery and Museum in Trenton. We discovered that there was a black segregated cemetery on Hart Avenue in Trenton. It was called Locust Hill. It opened here in Trenton in 1861. It took the bodies of blacks that had been enslaved and buried down on Hanover Street and took them over to Locust Hill on Hart Avenue and interred them there. So if you died in the city of Trenton and you were black between 1861 and about 1911, that's where you were buried. Now that cemetery had gotten abandoned and overlooked. So the East Trenton Collaborative and the 6th Regiment, the Trenton Historic Society, have been working on restoring the Locust Hill Cemetery and the building next door, the 6th Regiment United States Colored Troops, who I'm the president of. We're trying to open a museum there, a black museum there, to commemorate the people who are buried in the Locust Hill Museum. So those are the kind of things that we're doing, not just at election time, that I've been doing all along.
Right.
So that we can push this forward. I want to use my political platform to kind of push these projects and programs forward. That's what I meant before.
It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle.
It's a vehicle to push forward these ideas, these programs, these positive things going on in the community, and have the support of the city and city council behind it, and we can get a lot further. So it's not that I'm using politics to get somewhere. I'm going somewhere, and I'm using politics as a vehicle to get there.
I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love that. I want to talk about the 1st Rhode Island Regiment.
Yes, sir.
Y'all got something special coming up December 11th.
Yes.
Washington Crossing State Park, the Revolutionary War reenactment. Tell the people how they can get tickets to that and come out and support you on that.
Well, yeah, the 1st Rhode Island Regiment was in the Colonial Army. In fact, it was known as the Black Regiment in the Colonial Army. This is the one regiment that was mostly black, and it was called the Black Regiment. Now we reenact them. I'm a reenactor. I do Civil War. I do the Rev War. So for the first time, a black reenacting unit is doing something at Washington Crossing Park on December the 11th. We're setting an encampment there. It doesn't cost you anything. You come to Washington State
Make
Park.
some noise. It's
You're
free.
going to hear that. We're going to have cannons going off there. We're going to show you the military drill. We're going to have an encampment. We're going to educate young people about
the kids out.
Bring them out. We're going to educate them about the role of African Americans during the Revolution. Yeah. And we were part of it. A lot of people don't know. By the end of the Revolution, people of color were 1/5 of the Colonial Army. 1 in 5 soldiers in the Colonial Army was a person of color. But that story's not ever told.
Of course not.
And that's why we reenact that, so we can tell that story. It's the same about the Civil War. That's why we do the 6th Regiment about the Civil War. And we also have a World War I reenactment unit called the Ebony Doughboys. They talk about World War I. 2 of the first American soldiers to win the Croix de Guerre, the Cross of War in France, one was from Trenton.
Wow.
His name was Needham Roberts.
Needham Roberts?
Needham Roberts.
Make some noise for that.
He lived up on Wilson Street. You know, off of Pennington?
Yeah.
Yeah, right next to the church there. That's Wilson Street. Needham Roberts, that's where he lived. He was from Trenton, New Jersey. And he's one of the first 2 Americans to win that medal in World War I. But these are the kind of stories we got all over Trenton, man. It's a lot. We got Tuskegee Airmen who live here. The whole 9.
Yeah, Trenton is
we had a general from Vietnam lived out West Trenton. Black general lived out in West Trenton.
Wow. Wow.
From Vietnam era. You know, so it's we have these stories, and it's for us to tell those stories. And so that's the kind of thing that I've been engaged in. I want to shed that light on those men who have been heroic. That Battle of Trenton, there wouldn't be a United States had George Washington lost that battle. And there were blacks in the line down at the Assunpink Creek, firing at the British who was trying to come into this. Exactly. So, Trenton makes the world taste, dudes.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
And the people here are well worth being represented, and they need an advocate to push them and their stories forward. And I take it as an honor to, throw on the uniform of these heroic men. And so come on out December 11th to the Washington Crossing State Park. Bring your kids. We're going to do demonstrations of what soldiers' life would be like. They're going to have cannons and all kind of colonial era soldiers. They're going to cross the Delaware River and all those kind of things. The kids are not going to cross, but they're going to have reenactment of the cross. But anyway, come on out and see this. And by the way, we're going to also do it on Christmas too. So December 11th and Christmas, we're going to have something set up.
Okay. Come bring your holiday in with prayerfully our next city councilman, North Ward, Trenton, New Jersey. Algie, you're a friend of the show now.
Thank you, brother.
We're going to love to have you back.
Welcome home, brother.
Hear about, for real. Because we want to hear about more of the history.
Yeah.
You're such a wealth of knowledge. And you know so much about what this city has offered and what it still has to offer. It's going to be an honor when we can have you back after the councilman. But before we get out of here, I want to know, does Beeb have any closing thoughts or questions for Mr. Ward or anything you want to say to the people out there?
No, I just want the people to go out and vote for Algernon. It's an honor to have you here, and we definitely love to have you come back. You know you're in the middle of your campaign. You busy. You squeezing that time to fit us in.
We appreciate
big
that
for us,
for sure.
Big for our followers, and we definitely need you to come back just to kick it with us and talk to us. Let us get some popcorn and let you run your mouth.
Hey, I love it.
For sure.
I love it. And listen, I appreciate you guys having me. It's my honor, really. Because, you guys are the next generation. I'm investing a lot of hope in you guys.
Oh, man.
And, I want to make sure you have all the tools and the information you need to move forward. You got it. No problem. We appreciate that. You want to go ahead?
Well, I know sometimes we don't interact with some people comment. We got the Oil House. He comment Oil_House_ says something was a great idea, but he was like, anyone's as scared as I am. Hold on, I don't know what he was talking about though. Anyone as scared as I am, it will completely disrupt the Spring Street, Passaic Street sweet spot. I know I had to bum a room there on the cheap one. Is they building a hotel or something?
By Spring and Passaic?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any redevelopment in the Spring Passaic Street area, but I am sure that it needs to happen. Yeah. Some of y'all may not know. My first home was on Spring Street when I was from, 1 month old to 3 years old. I lived on Spring Street. So it kind of pains me when I ride through there and I see, abandoned buildings. Mm-hmm. I see the stores not open no more, a song store closer to New Willow and Spring. It pains me. So I would like to see redevelopment happen out there, but when the redevelopment happens, I want the people of that community to be okay with it, and I don't want them to
there. Because that's what I guess that's the clear. They're saying rebuilding could mean gentrification.
Well, that's why I talked about the property swap.
Yeah,
that's why I said if there's going to be new redevelopment, the people who've been paying taxes, living in the city of Trenton, to have the first shot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Swap the old property and get the new one. That's how you prevent regentrification. That's exactly why I'm advocating that program, so that we a lot of people from outside don't come in and buy the new houses and leave us out
on the street.
Right. And I'd like to see that happen. That Trentonians had a first shot at it.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
You got any more?
No, I haven't comments? There, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. We love when y'all write in at home. So if y'all have any more comments, questions, send them to us at theworldtakespodcast.com @gmail.com. We'll be sure to speak with Algie and speak with whoever we need to speak with and get y'all an answer. Don't be afraid to reach out. The comments is always open. The email is always open. Algie, you got any final thoughts you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, I think I said about it all, but I just want you to remember, this is Algie the Great from the Garden State at 688. Vote for me. I'm number 3 in column G.
Make some noise, y'all. Make sure y'all come on out November 8th. That's this upcoming Tuesday. The election is right around the corner. Most of you will have off from work. Some of you in the private sector may not have off from work. But please, if you have to work on your lunch break, on your 15, make sure you come out to wherever your community center is and cast your ballot. Show your power. It's time we stand up as a city and we stand together.
I believe it's illegal for a job not to allow you to leave to go vote.
In the public sector, it's illegal.
Okay.
Like we all state, county, city, we all have off on that day so we can go vote. But just say if you're working for Nordstrom's, you might still have to go to work, because it's private. Okay. But on your lunch break, and the polls is open late, if I'm not mistaken, they open.
Yeah, they open to 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock p.m.
So when you get off, go to work. When you get off work, go and vote. A lot of people go early in the morning. The polls open at 7 a.m.
Yes, sir.
So go early or go after you get off, but make sure you vote.
Make sure you go.
Vote, y'all, please.
Don't let your power go to waste.
That's it.
You might have felt powerless before you heard this, but I'm telling you, you got the power, man. You can make a difference. November 8th, candidate 3, column G. It's Algie the Great from the Garden State, man. It's your boy, Big Moolah.
This B Baby 1 2 of the World Takes podcast.
We out of here. We see y'all next week.